Welcome once again, and a very good evening to all of you. And we are now referring to this book, The Essence of Bhagavad Gita, by Paramahansa Ananda and edited by his direct disciple, Swami Ananda. Today's verse is from chapter 6, and it's the verse number 40. So I'll just read it out once. The Blessed Lord answered, O Arjun, my son, one who performs right actions can never be destroyed, whether in this world or the next. His fate will never be evil. So since the Blessed Lord has answered Arjun, that means in the earlier stanzas, Arjun might have had some questions, and they are, please Krishna, my mind is so restless, so difficult to control, as difficult to control as the wind. Tell me, how can I control my mind? He also had more questions, and he said, please Krishna, what happens to those aspiring yogis who are unsuccessful in their yoga practice, but though they meditate devotedly? Please heal me of these doubts permanently. Otherwise, who else can help me banish this delusion? And this is why Krishna has answers for Arjun. And stanza after stanza, Krishna helps Arjun to heal his doubts. Some people, they come to the spiritual path. After some time, they return to the world. And for them, then what happens is they wander for many lifetimes till the awakening happens in their heart for the love of God. Then some people, they come on the spiritual path with so much enthusiasm and zeal, and they practice their techniques with a lot of devotion. And after some time, their efforts relax and they start having a little bit doubts and discouragement, and they feel, is it possible that I can go higher? I don't know. Am I deserving to find God? I think I'm not sure. So if such is the state of mind of a devotee, Yogananda ji says, then that person should stop analyzing so much. He should only learn to love God and not ask for fruits of his labor in meditation, leaving the fruits in the hands of God. He should just learn to love God more and not reason out things. And then there are some people who are so devoted, so enthusiastic that they have done their very best. And when their lifetime is approaching end, they fall a little bit short of perfection. So they afterwards in the astral world get to enjoy the beauties of the astral world for a long time. And when they return to earth, subconsciously they remember the beauties and they know in their subconscious, this is not my true home. My home is somewhere else. And so they begin again their search for God. But sometimes it so happens that the enthusiasm of the devotee is so high that the devotee comes back to earth quickly and joins the spiritual path early in a young age and doesn't stop at anything till he has achieved the divine goal. So there are many different kinds of yogis described in this Bhagavad Gita by Paramahansa Ananda. And so Krishna tells Arjun, take heart, my devotee never is lost. God will always help him out, and God is not a tyrant. God is our own mother and father. That is why in this stanza, Krishna calls Arjun my son, to imply to him that God is your own mother and father and will never let you down. Now it so happened that there was a young disciple in Mount Washington in our Guru's ashram, and he developed a deep desire to experience samadhi. And he was very nervous to ask Master himself. So he thought to ask Rajarshi Janakananda, who was a very advanced disciple of the Master and was, they say, always in ecstasy. And so he approached Rajarshi Janakananda and he said, "Sir, could you grant me samadhi?" And you'll think that Rajarshi Janakananda would have said, "Okay, someday later, you must meditate more. You are not ready yet." Some answer like this, but no. What did Rajarshi say? "Sure, I can. But you will not be able to sustain that state on your own merit. Then you will have to come back to your normal existence and you will not be able to stand it." And we think, not be able to stand it, the normal existence. Why? The disciple was meditating in his Guru's ashram along with the other disciples, and he had the teachings of the Master. He was practicing them. He was not starving somewhere. He was not ill. He was not imprisoned anywhere. So why would he not be able to stand it? And you think, what is this existence that Rajarshi said you will not be able to stand it? The thing is that the state of oneness with God and our human existence, the state, there is so great a difference. We are imprisoned by many prison guards and we don't know it. However nice our prison may be, it is still a prison. And one of the prison guards, the chief one, is the ego. And he says, "I am separate. I'm separate from this one and that one and this one. I'm separate from the trees, the sky. I'm separate most of all from God. I stand alone. And because I stand alone, I need to protect myself from everything and everyone." And the ego takes everything personally. So to explain what is taking things personally, because we do it, one Kriyaban, like us, of our Master, she had gone to the doctor's office and the doctor asked her for her medical history. And since it was, and he wanted it from day one. And because it was more than 50 years, she had to keep on telling him many things. Then this happened, then that happened, and this happened. And she found herself getting tense. And she felt in her heart, "Oh, that was so bad. Oh, this happened. Oh my goodness, that was so bad." And then the doctor, he was called outside for a brief moment. And she said, "Why am I getting tense?" Then she did the tense and relax exercise. And she relaxed and said, "Oh, I'm thinking that all this has happened to me. It's not happened to me. This all has happened, but it's not happened to me. It's just happened." And then when the doctor came back, they continued with it. And she was a completely different person. And they went through the history in a purely scientific way. So this is how we take everything personally. And so the ego is not alone. as the prison guard, though he's the chief one. He has subordinates called the senses. And the senses are a greedy bunch. And the more we please them, the more we satisfy them, the more demanding they become. And they also feed us wrong information. They keep telling us that you can't do without me. I'm the one who helps you experience the world. I'm the one who tells you what is real and what is unreal. But Paramahansa Yogananda taught us the meditation technique in which the very first thing we do, what do? We go inward. And as Yogananda ji said, we shut off the sense telephones. And then only can we experience the true, deeper reality within us. So the senses tell us lies. They are not our friends. And so we come to the world. The people in the world, what do they ask for? What do they think? They think that, oh, I wish I had a better job. I wish I had a little more money. I wish I had a different spouse. And then I'll be very content. I won't ask for anything more. I'll make do with whatever else I have. But we as devotees should understand that our birthright is Satchidananda. Ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. How many people in the world ask for bliss? So we must bear in mind as devotees, we should not settle for anything less than bliss. And then we remember the story of Mahabharata, of which the Bhagavad Gita is a part. In that, the 5 princes, the Pandavas, they are our soul qualities, and they lost their inheritance of the oneness with God. They were tricked by the Kauravas on a game of dice, and when they lost their inheritance, they were sent into exile. And when they were sent to exile, they completed the exile and came back to the Kauravas, and they said very politely, we have finished all what you asked us to do. Now, please can we have our kingdom back? And you know what the Kauravas said? Who are you? We are ruling the kingdom. It is then that the soul awakens. After being banished from oneness in God, the soul has led lifetimes and lifetimes in exile. And slowly the soul awakens, starts to awaken and says, give me my kingdom back. The lost kingdom of God. But the Kauravas, they do not listen. And so the 5 Pandavas, being very noble characters, they say, okay, we make another proposal to you. Please give us just one village. We don't want to make any trouble. We want peace. So we'll be content with that. We'll never ask for anything more. Just leave us and let us be in peace. You know the answer, what Kauravas said. This is how we make do and accommodate with our limitations. Okay, give us only one village. Whereas your whole kingdom is yours. The state of oneness of God is ours, our birthright. And we live with our limitations. We are ready to do that. But the Kauravas said, no, we won't give you land even enough to keep a straw. So, what did the Pandavas have to do? They had to fight for their kingdom. They had no other choice. We also as devotees, we have no choice. We have to fight to get our kingdom back. Lackluster devotion will not do. We have to aim for the highest. It is what we are here for. Sat Chit Ananda. And let's not forget that that is what we are looking at. So now, how do we get our kingdom back? In short, how do we come out of this prison? How do we escape that prison where the prison guards are the ego and the senses? The Guru, with the help of the Guru. And the Guru in our path is Paramahansa Yogananda and our lineage of Gurus. And if we don't have a Guru, we need not worry. We should just try to love God because God supplies the Guru. And so our part is to love God and want to be free and want to be reunited with God. That is what gives us the Guru. And then the Guru's sole purpose. He is also a soul who was in prison just like us, but he found a way to escape and found a way to freedom. And then, look at this, he came back into the concentration camp for the only purpose to help others escape and find freedom. And why does the Guru have such a burning desire to help others? Because when he was with God already, he understood that it is God's wish to reunite with us. And this whole setup of the good guys, the bad, the Kauravas, the Pandavas, delusion, this whole thing is a setup by none other than God himself. Because he wants us for himself. So we will never be happy. We will never be satisfied until we are reunited with him. It's a setup. And so we will notice that the Guru comes, he helps us, he shows us the way, he gives us practices, techniques, teachings, so that he prepares us for the journey, for our expansion of consciousness and purification in such a way that we can receive God. Now, we all know, those of us who have taken Kriya, have attended Kriya initiation ceremonies, that the last thing we ever do in the at the close of the ceremony is that we leave the temple without turning our back to the altar. And this is a very, very symbolic thing for the lives of devotees. We should never turn our back to the Guru. We should never turn our back to God who has come to us as the Guru. We should never settle for anything less than Sat Chit Ananda. God bless you. Now